in this review, it's not all coming from me, huh? Because you have to participate and to give equal opportunity to everyone. Like some of you would have microphone that will not function, or you'll have slow internet connection. So you just type in the chat box, okay? And I'm going to review it once this recording will be emailed to me. I'm going to review it and will give you corresponding points. And I will inform you of these corresponding points, okay? So probably 1 point lang per question. And then once you have so many, I mean, you were able to answer so many questions correctly. And so that will be your points, ha? And paunahan, okay? Paunahan sa correct answer, ha? And I'm going to say, okay, the correct answer is there. And whoever got it correctly, okay, we'll have that particular 1 point. And every question, you try to answer, right? And whoever can answer quickly, or the first one to answer, will have the point if it is correct. And then, since it's an English class, correct spelling, huh? Correct spelling. So wrong spelling, wrong. Okay, even with names of people, because I might be asking names of artists. Okay, and then if you are using your name, no, your complete name, okay, no problem, because when the recording is sent to me, your complete name appears. But if the account you are using right now may not be your own account, or may just contain your initials, or what, no, you need to type your complete name so that the points will be recorded under you. Okay? Is that clear? Is that clear
Yes
ba?
po, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Sige, sige, so this is exciting ha, paunahay kita ha. And, sige, we are only 20 in class. Where are the others? 10 are not here, around 11 are not here. This is very important. So, sige lang, anyway, I'm recording it. Alright, so we begin with prehistoric art, and we know that the first cave that was discovered with paintings inside is the Altamira Cave, which is in Spain. So it was discovered by a father and his daughter. Okay, and they were surprised because there are animal figures painted, no, in the cave, okay, or inside the cave. And then, so that's in Spain. The next cave that was discovered with paintings inside was in Lascaux, France, discovered by four boys while they were playing. So you see that the first cave in Altamira and the second cave in Lascaux, France, they were just discovered accidentally. Okay, so they were not in an expedition for the purpose of exploring caves, but it was just accidental. And after that, no, so you see Spain and France are very close to each other when you look at the map. And other caves were discovered with paintings inside. Okay, and one recent, it's not so recent actually, but yeah, one of the recent caves which are discovered to have paintings inside is in France. Okay, and it's called Chauvet Cave, discovered by three spelunkers, Chauvet, Brunel, and Hilaire. Okay, so the first question: what is a spelunker? Okay, what is a spelunker? Anybody can type the answer correctly. Chauvet, Brunel, and Hilaire are spelunkers. What is a spelunker? Mabilisan. Explorer of caves. Okay, then let me see. So Oliverio got it right, no? Explorer of caves. Correct, correct. Thank you. So you have a point there, Mr. I might as well record it now. Oh, you have 1 point. Yeah. Oh, yeah, correct. Explorer of caves. So when you say speleologist, it is your profession. It is your profession that you are exploring caves. So actually, these three are speleologists, but it just so happened that during their day off, they explored caves, okay? And one of the caves they explored was this one, no? And it didn't have any name yet. So it was then named Chauvet. Chauvet from Jean Chauvet, who is the leader of the group. Okay? So Oliverio got 1 point. Okay. All right. So, if the entire cave was named after Chauvet, how are the two other explorers honored? That's the second question. How? How are the two companions, Hilaire and Brunel, honored? Anybody? How are the two other companions honored? How? So start your answers. Pabilisan. How are they honored? Perhaps I'll give this question 2 points. Okay, let me see if Beyonce gave the answer. The six caves were attached in the cave chambers. The question that I raised is, diba, the entire cave is named after Chauvet, Jean Chauvet. But he had two other companions, Brunel and Hilaire. So how are they honored? Because it might be unfair, diba? They work together in exploring that. Okay? So, um, write in a complete sentence. Write in a complete sentence. How are they honored? The question is how. Ah, okay. Brunel, correct spelling, correct spelling. Brune and Hilaire were honored with their names attached to chambers. We said correct spelling. Brunel and Hilaire. Okay, correct. So Nicolette Villalveto got it right. So as what I promised, I'll give 2 points for that question. Huh? So you have 2 points now, Nicolette. Okay? So they were honored by giving the chambers their names. So there is one chamber called Brunel Chamber. There is another chamber called Hilaire Chamber. But the entire cave is called Chauvet Cave. Okay? Yeah, that's good. All right. So someone wants to join us. Again. So you have 2 points now, Nicolette. All right. Another question is still all about Chauvet Cave. So if you have seen the PowerPoint that did I give a PowerPoint I share? Anyway, so there is a panel there that may look Christian, Christian in nature. Okay? What is the title of that panel? Okay, Marion Oliverio got it right. The Sacred Heart panel. Okay? So if you take a look at your textbook, page 65. So another point for Mr. Oliverio. 2 points to Mr. Oliverio. So it looks like the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Okay? And there's a cross on top. So it looks like a heart and then there's a cross on top. And you see, this was made, I mean, these paintings were made during prehistoric times. And we know that Jesus Christ, of course, came here on earth around 2,000 years ago, 2,021 years ago. And the Chauvet Cave was, you know, the paintings inside were made during prehistoric times. And we don't really know, did God already manifest himself at that time? We don't know. Probably yes. Okay, so that can be one indication there. Or it can just be coincidence. Okay? But, the paintings here, for sure, are not fake or not hoax. Diba? When you say fake hoax, Hoax, okay? Because they were examined by archaeologists. At first, they thought na it was just made no by recent painters, but when they did carbon dating study of this, it's really documented, or it's really validated that it was made during prehistoric times. Okay, so that's all about Chauvet Cave. Okay, this question, still about Chauvet Cave. What is the government of France doing to preserve the cave? Perhaps I'll give 2 points to this question. Because if there are tourists, they cannot get inside the actual cave because they want to preserve the paintings inside. Once there are people coming in, okay, it can alter the condition of the painting. So to preserve that, they are doing something else. No? And what is that something else? To preserve the paintings inside. So what is the government of France doing to preserve? Only a handful can enter the cave per year. Mm, there are people allowed to enter, like historians, archaeologists, but if I'm a tourist, okay, I'm not archaeologist, I'm not historian, how can and I want to view, I will add a question, I will add an information to that. I want to view the paintings inside. So what did the government of France do? Your answer here, like handful can enter per year, sealing the cave. Not really the exact answer. Funeral service for Lascaux. My question here is on um, if I am a tourist, okay, I'm just an ordinary citizen. I want to look at the paintings inside. So how do I do it? What's the government of France doing? Sealing the cave. The sealing of the cave happened before the discovery. That's why we wonder, why is it that only in 1994? That's because the entrance of the cave collapsed and the brilliant works within were sealed. That's before the discovery. So after Chauvet and company discovered that these paintings inside exist, what did the government of France do? Anybody? If you see your textbook here, I actually placed the link, no, the National Geographic, if you want to read more about it. Okay, there's an answer coming from Lara. Okay? Putting into place corridors following the route of the discovery to regulate movement and to provide the conditions for the possible outside access was also built. Uh-huh. Scientists moved to protect the fragile paintings and close it to the public. Oh, lagi, yeah, it's closed, okay, but like, can you give me a question ba, if I'm a tourist and I want to see what is the government of France offering? Oh, ano na lang. What's the government of France offering for the public to see the paintings? I'm looking for the right word. Okay, correct, Beyonce. There is a replica of the cave. Yes, that's it. That's 2 points. So the government of France created a replica of the cave so that an ordinary tourist can go to that place and view. Oh, that's the answer. Replica. Okay. It's exciting. I'm excited. Can you get online participation? Alright? Okay, that's good. Alright, sige. Another question here. Uh, so, diba, we can reflect about it that the government of France is really doing something for the preservation of the cave. Now, in Cagayan de Oro, we used to have this historic cave, and in fact, what do you call this one? The artifacts, the artifacts coming from that cave are housed in Museo de Oro, our museum in Xavier. Okay, Unfortunately, that cave was destroyed during the administration of Mayor Emmanuel because there was a road that was constructed. Okay? What is the name of that cave that was destroyed? Okay, that's the next question. Worth 1 point. Okay, Nicolette, very good. Sorry. It is, wait. Who's the first one to answer it, huh? Based on the chat. It is Crestua, Huluga Cave. Okay. Huluga Cave. Chua. Okay, 1 point for Mr. Chua. Okay, Naila is sorry na da. Yan, he got it right. Diba? Ang pinakauna ba yung rules, no? Okay, so Huluga Cave has been destroyed. Okay? So the question now is, where is Huluga Cave? Where was Huluga Cave? See, when you type it there, you answer 1 point. Where was Huluga Cave located? What is that road there now? What barangay? What barangay is that? It is situated. So there's an answer here, huh? Barangay akong pangutana, no? What barangay? According to Nicolette, it is situated on the eastern side of the Oro River along the brow of the vertical limestone cliff. So, not so specific. I was asking for kanang barangay. Okay, so Sitio of Taguana. Okay, I can accept this one. Bildaroy. Sige lang, Nicolette, no problem ha. Naman kay Kadiri, 2 points. Sige. So, Bildaroy got it right. Okay, 1 point. Taguana. No? So, Makasandig, Taguana, and then you go there, and then nagabyan din mo ang kuan, di ba, Roseville, and then you go to SM. So, kada siya na road, diha. Okay, yeah, Taguana. So, yeah, that used to be the location of Huluga Cave. And so, you know, it tells us about how we view historical sites. I mean, the previous government, what did it do? Di ba, okay lang, you create the road there, bahala ng Huluga Cave. But it used to be a historical site. Okay, sige. That's why there is an article, it's actually in your book, no? page 67, read Tragedy of Huluga, a case of the local government's nonchalance at the importance of history. It's written by local historian Antonio J. Montalban II. So he called it Tragedy of Huluga Cave. Okay. Wala, it's now dead. Okay? Then, in your textbook, you have the Egyptian art, and I even showed you the video in YouTube, Introduction to Egyptian Art, and the poem Ozymandias in relation to the pharaoh. Okay, so next question. What is the name of the ancient tombs of the Egyptians before the making of the pyramid? Paspasa, eh? Paspasa. Okay. Miss Taliedo got it right. Okay. Mastaba. Okay. Mastaba. That's 1 point. Taliedo. Okay. Sige lang, no? I still have many other questions. So, it was just plain, no? Meron siya, house lang ba? Roof, and then you have the post, okay? Post and lintel principle. But one pharaoh wanted something grander than a mere mastaba. And so he ordered his architect to create something grander. So the result was you have one mastaba over the other, and it became the pyramid, okay? And the largest is owned by King Cheops. Okay. And then, of course, you also have the Great Sphinx. Huh? And then, in your textbook, you have the poem Ozymandias, which is another name of a pharaoh. So, who is that pharaoh? It's believed to be the other name of Ozymandias. Who is that pharaoh? Give me his name. Ramses II. Correct, Crestua. Okay, another point for Chris.
Ay, excuse me, Ma'am Dili po. Ako ang una po.
Ay, Queenie. Oo. Sige, na-delay lang. Ano? Sige. So Pliny, that is right. Yes, it's Ramses the second. Okay? Now, in the Bible, there are many Ramseses. Ramses the fifth, and so on. But it's believed that it's Ramses the second. And who is that biblical character in biblical person in Exodus who became the half brother, or let's say step brother of Ramses the second? Who is that biblical person in the Exodus? Okay, so there is a correct answer here. Miss Gabatian, yes, it's Moses. Okay. Ay, yun ani ba? Kaya mag-participate mo. Miss Gabatian. Okay, 1 point for Miss Gabatian. Yes, it's Moses. So I even showed that in the video that I created, no? I presented a clip from the Ten Commandments. Okay, so you have Ramses the second and you have Moses. And that's during the Exodus, no, when the Israelites fled, no, from Egypt to the Promised Land. Okay, and if we connect that to sculptures, no, so Ozymandias or Ramses the second had many statues, and there are statues which were brought to the British Museum. And here you have the poem, a sonnet written by Percy Bysshe Shelley on Ozymandias. Okay, so if you look at the poem, it's a sonnet having 14 lines, and there is one dominant figure of speech in the poem. What is that dominant figure of speech? Paspasa eh. Athena. Yeah, irony. Okay, irony. Correct, irony. Another point for Miss Dabatian. Okay. Sige. This question worth 2 points. Why is it irony? Where is irony in the poem? Sige, you type a phrase or a sentence as long as it is clearly explained. Why is there irony there in the poem? What makes it ironic? When we say imagery, those are images seen, no? Imagery, like it can refer to the sense of sight, the sense of hearing, the sense of smelling. Okay, mga imagery. But the particular figure of speech there is irony. Okay, you have to explain it clearly. So what with the line? My name is Zimari. Yeah, there is a line there, but so what? I have to explain a little. The statue is made to show glory, but it now held helpless on the ground. Okay. Correct spelling dapat ha. It was presented that Ozymandias was a great king with a great palace, but when the man visited, there's no more great king. Observe correct spelling ha. He was so powerful that no other king could surpass him. Okay. Okay. Sige. I can give 2 points to Mr. Ledo. Okay. She answered, the statue is made to show glory, but it now held helpless on the ground. Yeah, that's ironic. Okay. Okay, I'll give you 2 points for that, Mr. Ledo. Okay. And there is another answer here. Because the way you explain it, no, there can be another angle of irony. Sige, that's correct, Mr. Ledo. Another one here, no? Okay, Adriana. Okay ni, okay ni. It says in the poem, look on my works, but the next line says that nothing can be found, nothing beside remains. Okay, so I'll give 2 points to Miss Hanina. Okay, sige ha. Sige, stop na ta, kinanay nakakuha. Now, let me explain. I'm not accepting fully what others wrote, ha? Naikulang gamay, ha? Okay. It's like this, ha? When we talk about irony, there can be three types of irony. Okay? The first type is verbal. Okay? You say something, but you don't mean what you are saying. That is verbal irony. Okay? What's an example? For example, there's a child climbing, climbing the balcony. And so you tell her, sige, you climb. Saka diha, aron mahulog ka. Diba? You don't mean what you say. Because irony is saying the opposite of what you mean. That's verbal. Okay? I don't mean the child to get hurt. That's why I say, sige, saka diha, aron mahulog ka. Or your mother might tell you, oh, sige, sige muna, bilar-bilar, sige, dula o kuhan diha. Dota or whatever. No? Or sa mga games na. Sige, sige, tanong-tanong, there's mga YouTube, whatever. Bilar diha, pag-bilar. But you don't mean your mother doesn't mean what she says. That's verbal irony. Okay. Another irony is irony of situation, which is applicable to this point. Situation, diba? Expectation versus result. You expect something, but there's a different result because you have the line there, diba? The traveler was saying that he saw the line. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty and despair. So when you read that line, you will expect that this somebody who is claiming to be King of Kings has a kingdom. You expect that he has a kingdom, but the next line tells us nothing beside the name. So there, expectation versus result. Okay? So that's why I'm considering that answer. Huh? You expect something, but wala may resulta. Okay? There's an answer here. Sige, pwede na po ni, no? By Crest. It was presented, spelling lagi Crest, ha? Baby, yung otro ba ni? Okay, correct spelling, ha? That's what we had in the rules earlier. Correct spelling, dapat. Dapat correct spelling, ha? Complete words. Kung ganun kung okay na, I will follow. Sige. So, dapat correct spelling. So, muna siya, ha? That's the second type of irony, irony of situation. Another example of that, your mother is a math teacher. Okay, so that's the situation. So everybody expects that you are very good in math. But what is the reality? You failed in math. That is irony of situation. Okay? So, muna to, no? Verbal irony, irony of situation. The third type is dramatic irony. Very common in drama and even in films, in mga teleserye. Okay? For example, a common plot in Filipino teleserye is that yung karamihan switch at birth, Mara Clara, mga kabata, and then after they were delivered, no, they are in the nursery, in the hospital, they switch din sila, okay? And every child or each child was growing up with a different family. But of course, kita sa audience would know nga, oh, that's not your family, alright? And for example, that child meets her real mother. Batang yan, tinod na mama, yan nakita, okay? But the real mother, of course, doesn't know. So the real mother maltreats that girl. But we in the audience know. Do not maltreat her because that is your child. Diba? So there is discrepancy. What a character says on stage or in the film and what the reader or the viewer thinks or what the viewer reacts. Kita, our reaction is, ayaw, nagdaw-dawga kay imo ng mama, o imo ng anak, nagdaw-dawga. That's our perception. So you see, there is discrepancy. And that's what we call as dramatic irony because it is common in drama and in films. Okay? A classic example is from the play Macbeth by William Shakespeare. So Macbeth is general to the King of Scotland. And he has this ambition of becoming king. So when he realizes that the king would be a visitor to his castle, he and his wife Lady Macbeth planned to kill King Duncan. Okay? And where is the irony? Where is the dramatic irony here? When King Duncan enters the stage and then he sees the castle of Macbeth, his first line is, "This castle hath a pleasant seat." Meaning, what a nice kind of castle. It's peaceful, it's pleasant. But of course, the audience know nga, oy, that's not pleasant at all because that is where you will be murdered later on. So you see, there is discrepancy, no, between what a character says on stage and what the reader or what the viewer of the play sees. So those are the three types of irony, okay? Verbal, irony of situation, and dramatic irony. Okay. Then, so this poem, Ozymandias, is telling us that nothing lasts forever, right? You have this monument of Ozymandias, and he claims to be king of kings, but where is it now? Wala na. Okay? It's shattered in the desert. Okay. So let's proceed. Huh? So just read through ancient Greek art there. Okay, you have Aphrodite of Melos, okay, page 76 of your textbook. You also have there, no, in relation to the Greek orders, the Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian order. Okay. So when you enter our cathedral, for example, in Cagayan de Oro, the column there is Corinthian. Okay, and then we have here discus thrower, page 77. So it shows us an athlete throwing the discus. Okay, and we see proportion and balance in his body, and we see the accuracy coming from the artist, that he was really able to see the moment or to capture the moment when an athlete is about to throw the discus. But these are now replicas because the original was destroyed. Okay. So, fortunately, there were replicas made before the destruction of the original. Okay, so ancient Roman art. We just go through these pages because they are related to um, Romanesque and Gothic. Okay, so when we talk about Gothic, this is also a review of what we had done earlier, no, last week. So Romanesque architecture, okay, there were less windows and thick walls. Okay. And that was during the Middle Ages. Why do you think so? 2 points. Why do you think so that the buildings, no, particularly the churches during when you have the Romanesque architecture, why is it that there were few windows and thick walls? So 2 points. If you were making your paper, I mean your PowerPoint on Romanesque architecture. Okay, sige, make your statement complete. Why? So what if it's dangerous and lawless time? So what? Explain a little, Sophia, for your answer to be considered, no? 2 points. And easy to defend. Okay, sige, sige. I can consider that. One more answer. Another answer. Yeah, I can give you 2 points for that, Miss Sabuga. Actually, Mr. Pabayo, yan say, no? Atong Protestant Reformation, Martin Luther, paano siya, paano siya, Renaissance period ito siya. No, few windows to contain the outward thrust of the vaults. To contain the outward thrust. It's related to the lawless times, more or less similar to what Sophia wrote. What was the function of the churches? How is it related to the times na lawless? In the outward thrust. Become a safe haven for... Okay, sige, nana. Correct na. So I'll give 2 points for Sophia. Sophia and Juan. Marion. Okay. So, I'm after ganang clear, no, nga pagka-state has it. It's like this. So, lawless times, no? You can even see this in movies. Huts of peasants being destroyed, no, destroyed by fire. So, the villagers, of course, are displaced, and the best refuge for them would be the churches. Okay? What's the reason why there are few windows? Okay, to protect them from invaders. Gamay ang window, di kasulod ang mga kontra, no? And the walls have to be thick, okay? So that when there are attacks, it wouldn't easily be destroyed. Okay? So that's why I'm considering the answers of um, Misabuga and Oliverio. Okay, okay, safe pa siya. It's a place of refuge, no? Even for the refugees. Okay, kana siya. Huh? All right. So few windows. So the answer to that is, after na lugar sa mga magbugot-bugot, they wanted another type of architecture that is soaring high up to the heavens. And it's called Gothic architecture. Okay, so most of the Romanesque buildings were then transformed into Gothic architecture. So it's the Romanesque architecture emphasized on the width, okay? The wider, the better. Gothic architecture, the higher, the better. Reaching up to the heavens for the glory of God. Because Ginoo, okay? And that's the beginning now of stained glass windows. Okay, so the paintings, no, wala sa walls, but in the windows. Kaya puno naman sa mga walls. Okay. Now, you have this structure like a statue that is placed outside Gothic cathedrals. Okay? And they are called gargoyles. Okay. What are the two functions of the gargoyles? That's the next question. The question is, what are the functions of these gargoyles? 1 point each. 1 point for each function. What's the reason why the gargoyles are placed there, outside the cathedral? They look scary. The monsters are designed to scare. Make it complete. Convey water. Make it clearer, ha? What do you mean convey water? I'll be waiting, ha? I'll be waiting. Sige. Your answer, Nicolette. Gargoyles are designed to scare. To scare who? Okay. Kung dito ha siya. Remember, it's placed outside the cathedral. Scare who? And why? Diba? Convey water. What do you mean by convey water? They have to see. The word that you use, siguro Beyonce, no? Maragi siya mao ang convey. Convey means small flock of birds. Small group of people or things. Sige. The answer here. Sige ha. Balikan ha. Okay, Marion Oliverio. Okay, spout and roof gutter. Okay, so that's 1 point. You are the first one to answer that, Oliverio. Spout siya. Okay. Gutter ba? So the mouth of the gargoyle, normally siya monster. So the mouth would serve as water spout. Yan nagawas ang tubig. Okay? Okay, that's one correct point. Okay. So similar answer man ni Chris. Okay, ang answer ni ano Ben? Mary to ato spout. Okay, similar na. Similar. Okay. Similar sa devouring giants. So what? So what, Miss Cabaneros? Preserve the stone walls. Okay, more or less similar naman to, no? Kaya na may moisture manggod ang kuan ang walls. So water had to come out, no? So more or less similar naman ni Queenie, no? to scare illegal peasants. And so what? Pari-pariho na yung mga answer. Scaring of demons and evil spirits. Okay, pwede na ni siya, Miss Jimena. Scaring off demons and evil di ko sure niya kay. They look like demons na bayapod ang gargoyles and then scare na sila lain nga murag koan, evil spirit. Unsa gyud ha? Unsa gyud? Mayong naman yung uban nga answers, no? Related ni siya sa water spout. Designed to scare demons. Mura naman sila demons. Word of evil spirits. To scare. Kanili kulang siya to scare medieval peasants. And then, to scare sila. Kasi mahitabo na yun. Spiritual protectors of the church. Okay, I can more or less, I can accept this question. The clergy needed visual representations of the horrors of hell, represented by the gargoyles, to drive people to the sanctuary of the church. So people were outside the church. So to drive them to the sanctuary, okay? So naato visual representation. Placing the gargoyles on the building's exterior reinforced the idea that evil dwelt outside the church, while salvation dwelt within. Okay, I can accept that, Mr. Chua. Okay? So because of that, wala gito na when people, no, the outsiders, the peasants would see them, they will get scared, they will enter. They will enter the church and attend the mass. Okay. Kana siya. Ha? Oo. Okay, so mas nauna si Fresh Chua in terms of the right explanation. Ang uban attempted to explain pero wala kay na kompleto nga. So what if they are placed there? Isa ba yun? Okay? Yeah, it's a visual representation in order for people to be reminded of evil. Okay? So that when they get scared, they will then enter the church or enter the cathedral. So that's why we have the Gothic design. Okay? Thank you sa iyong participation, ha? Hindi ka rin alert tayo mo. Maski ko, hapit na ito. Okay. Sige. You can eat there, di ba? In your respective houses, you can eat. Okay. So just go over these pages here, ha? Like in the semi-final exam, I will be mentioning characteristics and you have to identify, any Gothic me because of this characteristic. Kung ano siya, postmodern or modern. Okay? So when I say, for example, flying buttress, with the presence of flying buttress, of course you will say, or you will answer Gothic.